Welcome to Fortune Friday, an interview series where I speak with entrepreneurs about money, the lessons they've learned, relationship with, and the big dreams for their business and lifestyle. My name is Connie and I am a cash flow and business mentor. And on today's episode, I am chatting with Reverend Catharine Clarenbach, who is an ordained Unitarian Universalist minister who, rather than serving a congregation, has created her own entrepreneurial ministry called The Way of the River. Through The Way of the River, she helps people who have historically been marginalized or alienated from traditional religion find their own deep, wise, and resilient spirituality. In our conversation today, the top three things we talked about were joy. We start with joy and the ways that she's been able to increase that and do that on a daily basis. How she changed from dislike to actually loving numbers and the new relationships she's been able to create. And we talk a lot about how she has been able to craft the best way for her to work on her numbers and how important that is to create your own unique way of doing that. I hope you enjoy this conversation today. Here's Catharine. Welcome to Fortune Friday. Today, I'm speaking with Reverend Catharine Clarenbach. Hi, Catharine.
Hi, Connie. It's so nice to see you.
It's lovely to see you today. I am so excited to talk to you about so many things today, but let's get started with, I asked you one question I really enjoyed your answer to is, how are you increasing joy right now?
How am I increasing joy? Well, one of the ways that I'm increasing joy right now, and I don't know, it changes every day, honestly, but one of the ways that I'm increasing joy right now is by really paying attention to the shift in the seasons. And I have a dogwood right outside my window that has turned bright red. And I spend a lot of time contemplating the dogwood. So that's one way that I've been increasing joy.
And it changes every day. Do you actively choose to make sure that joy is a daily part?
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. We do, an example is that on Fridays, my wife and I do celebrations for the week.
Oh, fun.
We share what our business and personal celebrations are for the week. What we are proud of, what we want to make sure the other one knows about, what we just feel like crowing about. And I also just really love beauty. So, having beautiful things around me always really makes me feel joyful and feel happy. And so contemplating my plants, again, dogwood, fern, dyeing my hair purple, these things, they make me happy.
Yeah. Well, and it's funny because people are like, well, why did you start off with the joy question? Well, because when you're joyful, money follows joy. So it's really helpful to key into that.
And my work is so joyful.
Yeah.
I get to make it up all the time. I love it.
Well, tell us what you do.
Well, I'm an ordained Unitarian Universalist minister and also an initiate in Stone Circle Wicca since 1999.
Wow.
And I help people who are ambivalent about religion or don't really feel like they have a place there to find their own deep sense of spirituality. And I do that through one-on-one work, through classes. I run a retreat in December, and I also run small groups with folks. And all of those things are in the service of helping people get a deeper, more authentic spirituality.
Nice. Yeah, it's good to re-examine that, and it's not something that has to be the certain way. And so, so you get to make it up for every person that comes. So it's awesome.
Yeah, I really don't have an agenda. One of the things I say on my website is I list all these ways of talking about God or the divine or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I say, I really don't care what you call it. And I really don't.
Nope.
It's important to me that people feel able to be free in their exploration.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's so fun. Okay. All right. So let's start with, what was your earliest memory of money?
My earliest memory of money was I was tiny. I was like 3 or 4 years old. And I was sitting on the floor by the coffee table.
Mm-hmm.
And my parents were talking, and they were very stressed.
Mm.
My father was a young professor. My mother was not working for money outside the home, except doing some editing here and there. And they only had $100 until the end of the month. Now, I don't know where we were in the month, but they only had $100 to the end of the month. And I was like, that's so much money. $100. You have $100? And they were like, yeah, we only have $100. So I'm assuming it was like the 10th. You know?
Yeah. So you were, at your little smallness, that was so much.
It was so much money.
And in their adult minds, they were very thought like, yeah, we got way more days than this.
Yeah.
This is going to get us there.
Yeah.
Okay. So they didn't really teach you a lot about money.
No, my parents taught me nothing.
Nothing. And
really, I mean, I didn't have any idea how much money my father made annually or my mother, because she eventually did go into the workforce, but until filling out my financial aid forms to go to college.
Wow.
And it was a big deal. My mother felt very uncomfortable about sharing that information. I know, you laugh. It's terrible. I love my mother, but
they would rather fill them out in secrecy than with you. Yeah. Okay. Well, but you ended up, when I asked this question, love, dislike numbers, you actually love numbers.
I do. And it's so weird, Connie. If you had asked me that question a few years ago, I would have said, get me as far away from numbers as possible. I really would have. But, well, a couple of things. I took a course with somebody who was a money coach, and that was super, super helpful. And some of the best couples therapy I've ever had, let me tell you what. And learning that if I visited with my numbers on a regular basis, they weren't scary anymore. That we could be friends. Right now, we're not in such a great relationship because I'm a little behind with my numbers, I have to say. But I know what I didn't used to know, which is that relationship can be fixed.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, because I do often refer to, we just need to create a brand new relationship with money. And people do sometimes think numbers and money are the same thing. Mm-hmm. And so I do find that a lot of people will like numbers, but ignore the relationship with money. But you've been able to see that they're together. The numbers are the metrics piece of it, but that money follows it pretty closely. So, which you and I both share a very similar way of our relationship with money, because we both like to update weekly. So we're paying attention every week. But when we get off track, our relationship with money goes a little sideways. Yes. It feels a little out of control.
Yes.
It feels like chaos, right?
Yes.
So do you have like a regular day or that you like?
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yes, Saturday.
You like prep the stage?
Kind of, yeah. Like, I have ADHD, and a complex visual field is hard for me to parse. Mm-hmm. So it's sometimes really difficult for me to deal with like spreadsheets and all that kind of stuff. So for the longest time, when I was doing my numbers entirely by like, here's the bank statement, and putting everything in manually myself, and then trying to reconcile it, and you're off by 9 cents, and you're, I wasn't using any, I was using bookkeeping software, but I just recently started hooking up my bank to bookkeeping software, which is a whole new world.
Yes, it is.
It's a whole new world.
What I prefer.
Yeah.
But so that, because there's so many errors that can happen, and then that 9 cents, and then all your math teachers come back and they like, you did it wrong, and that doesn't add up.
Yeah, but so I do set up like my screen on my computer. I have very distinct places for what I want to be looking at. My business budget, if I'm working on business numbers.
Sure.
My business budget, what I want my projections to be for that month, what it's been looking like. I try to keep in pretty good contact with what's going on with my business budget, because happily I've had a lot of growth this year.
Yeah.
And so I'm learning a lot about what's possible that I didn't think was possible before.
Yeah. I love that. It's the key thing, I think, if people could take away, is that make it work for you. I like a lot of CPAs and bookkeepers are well-meaning when they refer a software or recommend a software to their clients, but that works for them. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you.
Right.
And so work with your visual stuff of, if you need, like I use a lot of color in my spreadsheets to help tell the difference between different columns, because I visually can't, and I've been a spreadsheet girl for years. I need that difference.
That's how my calendar looks.
Yeah.
Like different categories of stuff or different colors.
Yeah. Sometimes I forget what colors are. Sometimes I change my mind. But yeah, I love that you've made it work for you. And that's the key piece. And you did equate to having a new coach, or you had a new experience. And let's see, the internet. Oh, there it goes. We had a little small internet stability problem, of course.
Oh, okay.
So what you hired a coach. It was scary at first.
Yes. My business coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really scary, because one of the first things he said was, I want to see all your numbers.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like,
hey, first of all, that's huge, because all the business coaches I worked with they only cared about my revenue number. They never wanted.
No, he wanted to see every little thing.
Wow. Okay. Yep. All right. So he's the one who, and we can give him credit if you'd like.
I would love to.
Okay. Yes.
His name is Mark Silver. He's with Heart of Business.
Yes.
And he's a tremendous coach and human being.
Yes.
So
he's lovely.
Shout out to Mark.
Shout out, Mark. Hi, Mark. So I love the fact that's where you started. He didn't start with anything else. He started with your numbers.
Well, we knew each other. I was part of his learning community for some time.
Right. Okay.
And so he was like, okay, well, we want to move your business from, really tiny to something that's going to be sustainable. And, so I need to see your numbers, anything you have. So I ran all my reports. I ran reports that showed all my revenue and my savings and expenses. And I just did it. I just sort of closed my eyes and was like, there you go. But I trusted him already.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wouldn't have probably been able to do that at that stage.
Yeah.
Like a year and a half ago. At that stage, if I hadn't already trusted him.
Yeah. Yeah. I love the story, because he was already in a safe container, because you'd worked with him before. And then he helped you shine the light on your numbers so you could see them. And I'm knowing Mark, it wasn't judgmental. It was just him understanding where your expenses were going where you were spending your money, how you were choosing it. And then did he help you change the format of how you looked at them rather than just black and white from these spreadsheets?
We actually, we haven't worked directly with my numbers as much.
Okay.
We've worked more with business processes and systems, launches, all that kind of stuff. And then I've reported back, like, here's where we are in terms of my, like the end of year numbers I gave him.
Yeah.
But we didn't do a lot of digging in, except in the beginning when he was like, okay, you're spending money on this and you probably don't have to.
Yeah.
Right. Things like that.
Yeah. No, I like that. Cause one is, we get really emotionally attached to how we spend things.
Oh, we do.
So it's nice to have a coach to like call out, do you really need this? Is this duplication? And of course, since he was looking at processes, he might've seen the difference of the two. So, but it also, by shining the light, now you know what they are. And like you said, you've doubled your income.
Yep.
Since that big, scary step.
Yep.
That's amazing.
It might be more than double. We'll see.
Wow.
By the end of the year, we'll see.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. So I know that you have a coach and you have an implementation team that helps things. Tell me more about the No Brigade that helps you.
The No Brigade. Well, let me show you something. This is my Post-it that says, the first answer is no.
I love it.
And I have it on my desk. I have that, and I have one that says, just because I'm anxious doesn't mean anything is wrong.
Right.
But awesome. I have a really hard time saying no. Mm-hmm. And so my calendar gets ahead of me.
Yeah, mine did.
My calendar gets ahead of me. And so I have a team of women, they just happen to be, who help me sort of keep myself corralled and not take on new projects unless I'm willing to let other things go.
Love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they're like accountability partners.
Nice. And how often do you guys meet?
Well, one of them is on my implementation team.
Mm-hmm.
So we talk every week. And one is my best friend, and we check in every day.
Oh, okay.
So I have a lot of accountability going on.
Yeah.
But I have to say, one of my No Brigade ladies did say to me on Sunday, "You're colossally bad at this." I was like, that's why I have you.
Yes.
I asked for help.
Yeah.
Give me credit.
Well, and that heart of being of service to others, we do still tend to want to help and add, and that brings our joy. And so, yeah. Awesome. Do they ever look at your to-do list?
Would you believe for the longest time I didn't have one?
Really?
Can you imagine?
I can't
stress of that. It was terrible. I have a very simple bullet journal now.
Wow.
It's just very simple. I use my calendar and my bullet journal together, and every day I write up my to-dos for that day, and I use the bullet journal principles, just the simplest possible ones. There's no shiny stickers like there were in my Post-it. It's just like circles for meetings, dots for tasks, arrows for pushes. Like, that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
But the chair of the No Brigade, my best friend, has looked at my calendar and been very upset with me.
Didn't understand your color coordination.
No, it wasn't that. It was too full.
Yes. Do you find that Having open space on your calendar it feels weird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm at a time right now where I've been working on building a new website. And so I have had a lot of open spaces, but they were not really open because they were devoted to working on the website and writing copy and that kind of stuff. So that's fine. But if I have like really unplanned for time, I'm going to fill it in with a client or something else.
Yeah. I should find myself a no brigade.
I'll be happy to be on it. I'm great at it for other people. And it would give me good practice.
What happens is, so my calendar will get really full and I'll go like, who did this? Oh, I did.
Yes. That's like, I'll say, my boss is working me so hard.
Yes. But then I go into contraction. Then I'm like, I'm really secure with my time. And so then nobody can get in. And if you're trying to get new sales or something, that's
right.
That doesn't work.
No.
So, but you also have a great relationship with your wife about talking about your vision, which doesn't always happen. I mean, I don't know if you realize how special yours and Julie's relationship is about being able to talk about those things.
Yeah. Every year between the winter solstice and New Year's, we spend days together working on what has happened over the past year, what are we looking towards, and how do we hope to get there in the next year. And amazing things have happened that come out of that process. Like, we are living in Portland, Oregon right now because of a process we did when we lived in Maryland 5 years ago.
Wow.
Or 7 years ago.
Wow. Yeah. Now, visions don't always have to have numbers associated with them, but do you guys talk numbers too?
Yeah, so we do. We talk about them.
That's so awesome to share all that. It's really great. And we've talked a lot about inspiration. But do you have something that you can, I always like to end our interviews with an inspiration, so a gratitude about your business or money in general, or?
Oh my goodness. I just have to say that breaking open the limiting belief that I could not make money was just a huge, huge step for me. And it really is Mark and my implementation team. Can I give them a shout out too?
Yes, you can.
Hire Katie Takaoka, Jillian Fraioli, and Alexis have been just unbelievably helpful in getting me where I am today as well.
Nice. Yeah, they're my implementation team too. So yes, you can give them all that love.
We give all the love.
Well, thank you, Catherine. I've enjoyed this conversation. I do want to point everybody to, they can find out more about you at thewayoftheriver.com. And you have a class, a retreat coming up in December.
Yes.
That I would like to point people to. I think this is really awesome. So why don't you tell us about Going in the Dark?
Going into the Dark is a retreat that's designed to be a refuge, a sanctuary, a really tender place. It's been on Zoom for the last 6 years. A lot of people have come to Zoom newly since the pandemic, but we've been doing this for a long time together now. 6 years sounds like a long time to me. It's just a really gentle antidote to all the anxiety and all of the pressure that even in good years, the holiday season can have. And that this year, 2020, the hits just keep on coming. So it's a really beautiful time. It's December 19th, and the calls, there are 4 separate calls, and they start at 8 a.m. on the West Coast, 11 a.m. on the East Coast.
And they're lovely. And you come in your PJs, be in your
bed. Absolutely.
With your cup of tea. Yeah.
We had somebody a couple years in a row who just sat in her rocking chair and knitted the whole time.
Yeah.
So.
Just taking time for yourself to reset the year. And it's just a lovely space to do that. And it's a perfect day to do that because it's the winter solstice.
Yeah, it's always the Saturday before the winter solstice.
Yeah. What we didn't talk about, but what people can find on your website too, is you have a tool for discernment.
Yes.
And discernment is so important for numbers and money. It's building that internal intuition. Like you said, that was the biggest gift you could give yourself, is that you could make money, that you could be okay with money. And that's part of our intuition of like building that up and building that muscle of like, it's there. Yes. And that we can determine for ourselves. Because when we first start business, we tend to have other people's opinions guide us on what an expense should be, or how our office should be, or how business in general should be.
Or if you can even be in business.
You're right. And discernment is a lovely muscle to build. And you normally don't get that until you've been in business several years. And it's called confidence.
Yeah. Learning from mistakes is a very important tool as well. But I have a tool on that you can find on my website called Your Perfect Day. That is a series of exercises that you can do to help determine what are your underlying values, what do you really want, what do you long for in your life, and what do you not need in your life anymore.
Oh, wow.
And you can find that at thewayoftheriver.com as well.
Awesome. And all of those are good practices as we go into the next year. And then you can attach some numbers to that, and money, and some ideas around how you'd like to create your new life now that you've uncovered a little bit of what that looks like. So awesome. Well, thank you, Catherine. I appreciate your time today.
You're welcome, Connie. I've had a lovely time. Thanks so much.
Thanks. And we'll see everybody later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Did you particularly like this episode or this type of conversation? You could really help us out by liking, sharing, or subscribing to wherever you are listening or watching this video. And for more information about me or this topic, you can check out moneyactiontips.com.